July 31st, 2025, dawned quietly in Anchorage, Alaska, as the city slowly came to life beneath a pale, early morning sky. The air was crisp, the streets nearly empty, and a sense of calm hung over the city, as if nothing could disturb the peace of this remote northern outpost. With sunlight spilling over the Chugach Mountains, the landscape glowed in golden hues, promising another ordinary day in the last frontier. Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport buzzed as a vital link between continents, its terminals alive with travelers and cargo. The hum of rolling suitcases, the chatter of families, and the steady rhythm of announcements filled the air, as people prepared for journeys that would take them across the globe. But just after 9 a.m., the airport's familiar rhythm was shattered by a sudden, chilling silence. The ordinary sounds of travel were replaced by an eerie stillness, as if time itself had stopped. The flow of people and planes froze, flights were abruptly halted on the tarmac and passengers stood motionless, uncertain and tense. Confusion and fear swept through the terminals. Faces turned pale, voices dropped to whispers, and the sense of unease grew with every passing minute. Social media posts from stranded passengers hinted at alarms, urgent commands, and armed officers moving through the airport. Rumors spread quickly as people tried to piece together what was happening from snippets of overheard conversations and frantic online updates. The airport, usually a symbol of connection, became a sealed container of uncertainty. Doors were locked, corridors blocked, and the outside world felt impossibly far away. For those inside, the world shrank to a gate or a grounded plane. Every minute felt like an hour, as travelers waited for answers that never seemed to come. For those outside, dread crept in as news trickled out. Families gathered at entrances, glued to their phones, desperate for any word from loved ones trapped inside. The incident was a stark reminder of vulnerabilities in our global transportation networks. Across the country, airports braced for the possibility of similar threats, and security teams sprang into action. In an instant, the ordinary act of catching a flight became a high-stakes security drama. Every bag, every passenger, every movement was scrutinized as officials worked to restore order and safety. The silence in Anchorage ended, but its echoes would reverberate far beyond Alaska. News crews arrived, broadcasting the story to a nation now on edge, and the city's sense of normalcy was forever altered. What happened that morning would soon force the nation to confront its sense of safety. The events in Anchorage became a turning point, a moment when the illusion of security was shattered and the country was left searching for answers in the aftermath. The crisis began with a flagged breach at a remote perimeter fence far from the main terminals. Security treated it as routine trespassing, until the responding patrol unit went silent. Radio contact failed. Suddenly, a minor incident became a potential crisis. Airport Command, Anchorage Police, and the FBI locked down the airfield. No takeoffs, no landings. Then, a sophisticated electronic attack targeted air traffic control, attempting to inject false data. Redundant safety protocols averted immediate disaster, but the intent was clear. This was a coordinated assault. The attackers were organized, technologically skilled, and intent on mass disruption. Authorities evacuated the control tower, shifted to a backup, and launched a tactical sweep of the airfield. Thousands inside the terminals were ordered to shelter in place, unaware of the full scope of the threat. The airport was now the epicenter of a complex, unprecedented security emergency. A multi-agency command post sprang into action, uniting local, state, and federal forces. Tactical teams advanced across the tarmac, searching for the missing patrol and any intruders. Inside, TSA and police moved passengers to secure areas while flights were grounded or diverted across Alaska. The search led to a grim discovery: the patrol vehicle, abandoned after a struggle, and a device responsible for the electronic attack. The airfield sweep continued for hours, with no immediate word on suspects. Passengers endured hours of uncertainty, sleeping on terminal floors as food and water were distributed. The human toll was immense: missed meetings, disrupted vacations, and anxious families. The incident was more than a security crisis, it was a personal ordeal for thousands. Anchorage's shutdown showed how quickly our interconnected world can grind to a halt. The first press conference came 7 tense hours after the crisis began, as the world watched and waited for any official word. Reporters crowded the airport, cameras flashing, hoping for clarity in the chaos. Officials confirmed a coordinated physical and electronic assault on the airport's infrastructure, but they withheld crucial details about the suspects, the nature of the attack, or the fate of the missing officers. The lack of transparency left many feeling uneasy. The governor, flanked by emergency response teams, declared a state of emergency. He promised to mobilize every available resource, vowing that those responsible would be brought to justice and that public safety was the top priority. Yet, the absence of specifics only fueled public anxiety. Rumors spread quickly, and speculation ran rampant both inside the airport and across social media, as people tried to piece together what little information was available. FAA data soon revealed the staggering scale of the disruption: over 215 flights canceled, 42 diverted, and more than 25,000 passengers stranded or delayed, their travel plans thrown into chaos. The financial impact was immediate and severe. Airlines faced mounting losses, cargo shipments were delayed, and global supply chains felt the shockwaves, with businesses scrambling to adapt. The FBI quickly took the lead in the investigation, classifying the incident as a potential act of domestic terrorism. They appealed to the public for any tips or information, urging vigilance and cooperation. Authorities maintained a tight lid on the investigation, citing security concerns. This secrecy, while necessary, left the public with more questions than answers, deepening the sense of mystery. The airport's critical role in connecting people and goods, and the far-reaching consequences of the attack, became painfully clear to everyone watching. Across the nation, people anxiously awaited updates, desperate for answers about who was behind the attack, what their motives were, and when normalcy might return. As hours turned into days, the veil of uncertainty only deepened, amplifying the sense of unease and leaving a nation on edge, searching for clarity in the darkness. That evening, in a move that sent shockwaves across the country, the Secretary of Homeland Security raised the National Terrorism Advisory System to high. This was the first time in years that the alert had reached such an elevated level, signaling a significant shift in the nation's security posture. The decision was based on credible intelligence indicating a specific and imminent threat, prompting authorities to implement sweeping security enhancements at airports, train stations, and other critical infrastructure nationwide. Travelers immediately noticed longer lines and more thorough screenings as officials worked to prevent any potential attacks. In a somber televised address, the Secretary warned Americans of a new level of capability and determination from the nation's adversaries. The message was clear: vigilance and cooperation from the public would be essential in the days ahead. Airports across the country saw a surge in security measures, with increased screenings, more federal air marshals on flights, and heightened canine patrols sniffing for explosives. Passengers were urged to report anything suspicious, and many felt a renewed sense of anxiety as they traveled. Security was also tightened at seaports, rail stations, and federal buildings, with local police and federal agents increasing patrols at public venues and major events. Visible law enforcement presence became the new normal as authorities worked around the clock to deter any threats. The announcement echoed the tense days following 9/11s, reminding Americans of the persistent and evolving threat of terrorism. Many recalled the sacrifices and changes made in the past, and the nation once again found itself on edge. News coverage dominated the airwaves, with anchors providing constant updates and experts speculating on possible motives, suspects, and the broader implications for national security. The sense of uncertainty was palpable. The Anchorage attack, which had unfolded in less than 12 hours, cast a long and unsettling shadow over the nation. The speed and scale of the response underscored the seriousness of the threat. Across the country, Americans were forced to confront the delicate balance between maintaining an open, free society and ensuring the safety of their communities. Conversations about civil liberties and security resurfaced in homes and public spaces. The country was now officially on high alert, bracing for what might come next. As night fell, a sense of vigilance and uncertainty settled over American cities, with everyone wondering how the days ahead would unfold. The Anchorage attack, blending physical breach and cyber warfare, marks a new evolution in threats. After 9/11s, security focused on passenger screening and cockpit protection, but adversaries adapted. Plots like the 2006 liquid explosives plan led to new restrictions, while attacks in Brussels and Fort Lauderdale exposed vulnerabilities in public airport spaces. Anchorage's incident targeted the airfield and operational systems, areas once considered secure. The coordinated cyber attack, aiming to disrupt air traffic control, was a nightmare scenario realized. Experts have long warned of critical infrastructure's digital vulnerabilities. This hybrid assault, physical and cyber, forces a complete reassessment of airport security. Federal agencies now face the complex, multifaceted threats they've been training to counter. The reality of Anchorage has changed the security landscape for good. In response, the TSA rolled out immediate and long-term security upgrades. Travelers now face longer waits, more frequent manual bag checks, and increased explosive trace detection. Security extends beyond checkpoints. Airports are reviewing perimeters, surveillance, and access controls. Patrols by police and law enforcement have increased, and new anti-drone technologies are being deployed. Employee vetting is intensifying, with more frequent background checks and monitoring for insider threats. Next-generation screening equipment like 3D CT scanners and facial recognition is being fast-tracked. These technologies promise better security but raise privacy concerns. The security bubble now covers the entire airport property, not just the terminal. The travel experience is changing, safer but more complex and invasive. Anchorage's shutdown sent shockwaves through the economy. Airlines lost millions from canceled flights and disrupted schedules. Cargo delays hit global supply chains. Perishable goods like seafood spoiled, and manufacturing components were held up, causing ripple effects worldwide. The incident exposed the fragility of our just-in-time economy. Public confidence in air travel took a hit, with longer lines and heightened anxiety becoming the new normal. Some travelers may avoid flying, impacting tourism and hospitality. Enhanced security comes at a cost. Billions in new technology and staffing, ultimately passed to consumers. Policymakers now face the challenge of balancing security with affordability and convenience. The long-term costs, economic and social, will linger long after normal operations resume. The Anchorage attack is a wake-up call, exposing new vulnerabilities and evolving threats. The decisive response, lockdown, investigation, and nationwide alert, was necessary, but it changed the travel landscape. Enhanced security measures will mean longer lines, higher costs, and a different airport experience. The ripple effects touch every traveler, airline, and community. The challenge is clear: reinforce security without sacrificing the freedoms that define our society. As we adapt, we must ask, how do we protect ourselves without losing what makes us open and free? The Anchorage incident forces us to confront the price of safety and the world we want to live in. The echoes of that morning will shape our approach to security for years to come.